Hi, I am Dr. Elina Hartwell. Welcome to my channel. You've spent your entire life building a home, raising children, making sacrifices, making decisions, and being the person everyone depended on. And then one day, something changes. You give advice, and it's ignored. You express concern, and it's seen as interference. You expect respect, but instead, you feel dismissed. And the painful question arises, why am I losing respect in my own home? This is one of the most emotionally complex experiences many seniors face. But here's the truth from a psychological perspective. You are not losing respect randomly. There are patterns behind it. And more importantly, there are ways to restore it. Let's understand what's really happening. In earlier stages of life, respect often comes from authority. You are the provider, the decision maker, the one in control. Children listen because they depend on you. But as time passes, those same children grow into independent adults. They develop their own beliefs, lifestyles, and decision-making power. This creates a natural shift. Respect is no longer tied to your role, it is tied to your behavior. And this is where many seniors struggle. One of the most common reasons respect declines is the need to maintain control. It often shows up subtly: constant advice, frequent corrections, questioning decisions, or expecting agreement without discussion. From your perspective, this may come from care, experience, and responsibility. But from their perspective, it can feel like lack of trust. Psychologically, every adult, regardless of age, has a deep need for autonomy. When that autonomy feels threatened, the natural response is resistance. So what happens? The more control is applied, the more distance is created. Respect cannot grow in an environment where people feel controlled. Another important factor is emotional reactivity. After 60, families naturally look to you as a source of stability. They expect calmness, patience, and perspective. But when reactions include anger, criticism, or frequent frustration, it creates a contradiction. Instead of being seen as wise and composed, one may be perceived as difficult or rigid. And here's a powerful psychological truth. People may not always remember your advice, but they will always remember how you made them feel. If interactions feel tense or critical, people begin to withdraw, not necessarily out of disrespect, but for emotional comfort. Another reason respect fades is the gap between generations. The world your children live in is very different from the one you experienced. Values, communication styles, priorities, everything has evolved. If there is constant comparison like "in our time" or dismissal of modern ways, it creates a disconnect. Respect requires understanding. Without effort to understand their world, it becomes difficult for them to connect with yours. Now here's the most important part. How do you fix this? The first shift is from control to influence. Instead of directing every situation, position yourself as a guide. Offer advice, but don't impose it. Share experience, but allow choice. A simple psychological tool is this. Before giving advice, ask, "Would you like my suggestion?" This small change transforms the interaction. It replaces pressure with respect. The second shift is mastering emotional control. Pause before reacting. Respond instead of reacting. Choose calm over immediate expression. This is not suppression. It is maturity in action. When you become the most emotionally stable person in the room, people naturally begin to respect your presence again. The third shift is practicing active listening. Most conflicts are not about disagreement. They are about feeling unheard. Listen without interrupting. Acknowledge their perspective. Even if you don't agree, show that you understand. Respect grows when people feel valued. The fourth shift is letting go of constant expectations. Expecting constant agreement, attention, or validation creates silent pressure in relationships. When expectations reduce, interactions become lighter, more natural, and more genuine. And finally, the most powerful foundation, self-respect. If you feel irrelevant, unappreciated, or frustrated internally, it will reflect in your behavior. But when you maintain your own routine, purpose, discipline, and emotional balance, you project quiet confidence. And confidence does not demand respect, it attracts it. Here's something important to remember. Respect in later life is not about being obeyed, it is about being valued. And value is not forced, it is experienced. So instead of asking, why don't they respect me? Shift the question to, what kind of presence am I bringing into this home? Because your presence shapes the emotional environment more than your position ever did. In the end, respect is rebuilt not through authority, but through consistency. Consistent calmness, consistent understanding, consistent dignity. And when those qualities are present, respect returns, not out of obligation, but out of genuine regard. So here's your action steps starting today. Choose one interaction, just one, where you will consciously pause, listen, and respond with calm instead of control. Notice the difference, feel the shift, because small changes in behavior create powerful changes in relationships. And remember, you don't need to demand respect. When you become a person of balance, wisdom, and emotional strength, respect finds its way back to you.